Yes, what's good, people? It's your boy One Frizzy 13 Beats. I've been getting a lot of emails about how to record vocals, clear cut vocals, vocals like professionals, vocals like Drake, Wheezy, Skepta, Chip, those kind of things. So here's how I record vocals. I've been recording vocals and producing records and making beats for since 2003. 13 years I've been in studio with some of the best, Marcus Houston, D Block, Skepta, Chip, loads of artists from the UK and from the US. So I've picked up a lot of tips, tricks, and secrets along the way. So you know me, I'm all about giving back, sharing. So here's some of the things that I do. So to record a good vocal on a track, it first starts with the mic. Obviously, you need a good condenser mic. If you go to Argos and you look in Argos in the book for like a handheld mic, it's not going to work. You need a proper mic, one that sits on a stand and has a popper stopper shield in front of it. If you haven't got one of those, you're starting from the bottom and your mic will sound shit. Garbage in, garbage out. A bit like if you're printing a word processor document in Word, and you made an error on the screen and then you printed it out and you tried to rub it off on the page with your finger, it wouldn't come off because it's printed, it's embedded on that paper. So to change that error, you would have to go back into the software and Word, delete it, change it to an M or change the letter, and then reprint it, and then it'll be perfect. So garbage in, garbage out. You have to get to the root of the problem to clean it up. So um, when I open up Logic, it looks like this. This is a project that I've been working on before. So I'll go to new. For example, I'll usually type 16 tracks here. It's the number of tracks that we're going to use. Oops. Oopsie daisy. Let's do that again. Audio. If you're using Logic Pro X, this is obviously applies to you, but they're all kind of the same. So you want to go to new. You want to choose 16 audio tracks. That's a good number to start with. Um, from there, obviously, track one, you'll import the instrumental track that you're using. So for the sake of it, I'm gonna import Take Me Away. And then what you want to do is you want to go to R. Now, if you switch on this button here, it's called the input monitoring. So you'll be able to hear yourself whilst you're rapping along to the track. Okay, if you take it off, then you won't be able to hear yourself through the mic. So as I said, one of the first rules is to have a good microphone. That's really, really, really important. Second is to stand a good distance away from the microphone. So you want about 4 to 5 inches away from the microphone. Now the popper stopper, the circular kind of thing that's in front of the mic, that stops the spit and stops the loud and harsh kind of sounds that come from your mouth while you're rapping. So your P's and your S's and your cuz, it kind of eliminates that and gives you just a clean cut vocal. A lot of Drake, a lot of Wheezy, a lot of Skepta, a lot of Chip, a lot of Tiny Temper. They use all of the same things. Once you've recorded your vocal in, you want to put a compressor on it. A compressor basically balances the highs and your lows. So sometimes on records, when you're rapping or you're singing, you might have low parts where your voice is softer, and then you might have higher parts where you're shouting. And the compressor kind of smooths it all out and makes it um, one level in volume. Okay, so you want to put a good compressor on, and you want to tweak it. But until you kind of know what these knobs do, is no point in tweaking this. So you might as well go to the voice, um, and kind of choose a preset that works for you. So if you're a rapper, choose a rap vocal. Play with rap or studio vocal. They're really two good ones. If you want a brighter vocal, you want to go to a bright vocal. Kind of depends on what you're doing. Just for the sake of the video, let's choose a rap vocal. And then you want to go and put an EQ on it. Okay, you want to put an EQ. As I said, until you know what all of these knobs do, there's no point in kind of, you can test it, experiment, see what sounds you get and see what you like. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to show you some short, snappy and quick tips on how to just get it clean, cut and precise. So what you want to do is you want to go to a male lead vocal. If you're a male, obviously put it on the male. If you're not, obviously choose one of female, one or two, and you wanna place it there. Now, one thing I will say is move this along different frequencies. Basically, your song is this is the spectrum of music, right? Imagine music is a line. It starts there. It's a race. It starts there and it starts there. Now, each section, as you see there, that's a section. 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's about 8 sections on a frequency spectrum. All right. So you want each part of the song to align and sit in a different space in the spectrum. So down here is your bass, round here is your snare, and up here is your hi-hat. Okay, they cover the bottom, the bass, the mids, which is the mids obviously, and that's the up here's the treble. Okay, so you want to fill it out. You don't want everything sitting down in your bottom end of your song. You don't want everything sitting on the high end of your song. If you sit everything at the bottom, it's going to sound muddy, dirty, and muffly. If you sit everything too high, it's going to sound too sheeny, too sharp, too hissy. All right, so you want everything to have its place and its balance. So if you're going to say, all right, my vocals are going to sit here, and then my ad libs are going to sit here, for example. You want to fill it out. You want to use the whole spectrum line to get your music heard, and that's how you kind of create those great records and those great sounds that you hear on the radio. So you want to put your lead vocal on, use it on here. And remember, this is just a basic video. In other videos coming up, I'm going to use some other stuff as well. You want to use a reverb or a delay. All right. Me personally, I'm a fan of reverb, but some like to use delay. So I'll use a Sound Designer delay. I'll put it on full and completely dry, and I'll play with the wetness of it. This will kind of change how much effect you put on the vocal. The reason why I'm not playing no vocals here is because when I'm recording this video, it doesn't actually allow me to add sound into the video other than the sound that I'm speaking through my headpiece. So I need to sort that out. But for the sake of the video and just learning, kind of look at what I've done here and apply it to what you do. So you want a good compressor on to even out the volumes of your vocals. You want to put some EQ on it to take away the kind of the basses. Remember, when you rap and you sing, our voices aren't as bassy as it goes into the computer. Because of the reverb in the room where you're recording XYZ, it's going to sound more bassier. So you want to roll off the bass here. Okay, you want to roll off the bass here and make your voice be able to sit nicely in the record. The reverb is going to add like an echo kind of hall effect, kind of adds a bit of dimension, a bit of atmosphere to your voice. And these are the basics. Now, obviously, after this, you can kind of get technical. You can kind of put auto tune on your record and your voice. You can kind of pan it left and right. You can kind of make it distorted. You can kind of you can just play with different things. But those are your free kind of your go-to tools: your compressor, your channel EQs, and your reverb or your delay, depending on what you want to use. So it's important to remember the difference between mixing and mastering as well. A lot of people get it confused. Mastering is a complete different field to mixing, completely different. It's like it's within the same field of music, but it's completely different. It's almost like the Premier League versus the World Cup. Yeah, the World Cup is, you have all of the nations around the world, and the Premier League, you only have cities or teams, 20 teams within a country, within one country. Completely different fields, different levels. I know guys that have been practicing mixing and mastering for 25 years and still, practice till today. Mixing, you can probably get good at it after probably 3 years. Mastering is something else. So a lot of people throw the term loosely. I'll mix and master my records. No, you don't. You mix it. There's a big difference. I've been, mixing, mastering, making music for 13 years, and even I still haven't mastered the mastering process because there's so much to it. So just remember that. But I am gonna release tips and tricks and techniques on how to get your mastering up to a scratch where it's worthy of being put out. But it's all a learning process. Everything's a learning process. The more you learn, the more you earn in this field. So get on learning. So that's it for this video. You want your compressor, your channel EQ, and your space delay, depending on what you want. Now, Before I go, I'm going to show you something that I put on my records to add an extra oomph to it. This is the beginner's guide. If you play with this, you tweak a couple knobs, you know, get used to it, and you're going to find a sound that you like. Once you get more advanced, you'll be able to save a preset and have stuff like this on it. Now on this, I've got my compressor, I've got my EQ, I've got a bit of space delay, I've got a spread on it, I've got something called a chorus on it to kind of open it up a bit, and I've got a direct mix on it, which is direction mixer, so it kind of sends the voice to different parts of the speakers left and right to open up the mix even more. And this is too advanced. If I went into this now, you'll be confused. So you have to take baby steps and learn it, get used to it, get familiar with it, and start adding on different things. It's a bit like when you're a chef. At first, when you cook when you're younger, you start with your cereal, you start with your toast, you know, you start with little things, and then as you get older and you learn and you're able to take in more, you start cooking your lasagnas and your beefs and your steaks and, you know, all different kind of things, because you're capable of doing those things. So love it, learn it. If you can't beat the major labels, join them. You know, and let's push forward. So that's 13 beats. If you've got any questions or concerns, let me know. If you want to know what presets I use on my records, let me know as well. I'll send this exact preset out to you. And peace, love and bless.